Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator and the Maker of heaven and earth. My name is Yeshaya Yisrael of the tribe of Dan of the nation of Israel. This particular presentation, brothers and sisters, it is going to be concerning the 12 books which are out, the 12 books that are already in publication. I want to, of course, and do honor and respect, give honor to the Creator who caused this kind of situation to even be in existence. The presentation will be about the books, all 12 of them. And so, brothers and sisters, let us begin without further ado concerning this kind of subject. Next slide. Ty, 12 books a brother has written. We will show those books in this short presentation. These books were written and published between the years 2016 and 2021. It is only due to the glory of the Creator that these books were able to be written. Brothers and sisters, I am open to constructive criticism. I remember having to edit things and change things and even changing publishers for one reason or the other. I remember the matter of the pricing. I remember in one situation, I accidentally sent one person who bought one book, two books, and the person who bought two books, one book. So the person who got the extra book, you can keep it. That's my fault. It is what it is. And the person who bought the two books, I sent that. So that is, quote, coming out of my own pocket. And a lot of times when you're dealing in business, you have to know what you're getting yourself into. You understand? And this is why I'm saying I am thankful to the Most High as far as being able to get these books out and brothers and sisters keeping a clean slate. No one can say and prove from 2016 until 2021 that a brother swindled them in the books, that a brother did not sit there and come through with the particular matter. So let us go on, brothers and sisters. Hebrew is Easy, Volume 1. This book discusses the Hebrew alphabet and the vowels. This book explains the easiness of how to read Hebrew. When the letters and vowels are understood, one can read Hebrew. This book too explains how the regular verb shamar is conjugated in the qual or kal stem. So if you look at this here, Hebrew is Easy, Volume 1, from Aleph to Shamar. Aleph is a letter. So it goes Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Wow, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samek, Ain, Pei, Zade, Kuf, Resh, Shin, Tal. And this book also explains the Sophite letters that go at the end of a word, such as Kaf Sophite, Mem Sophite, Nun Sophite, Fe Sophite, Zade Sophite. So, brothers and sisters, this is something we want to go over and show for edification purposes. All right. This book, as explained too, gets into the verb shamar. The word shamar means to guard, to watch, or to keep, or to observe. You see this in different parts of the scriptures itself. It is spelt, brothers and sisters, with the letters Shin, Mem, and Resh. Let's go on. Hebrew is Easy, Volume 2. This book explains that one should learn the vocabulary one uses in English to get a good understanding in Hebrew. So, what are we saying, brothers and sisters? When you dealing in a particular thing in English, mainly learn how to say that in Hebrew. So if you are into driving, you're going to want to know about the word for car, or the word for train, or the word for road, or the word for street, or the word for appliance, or so forth and so on. And once it comes down into that particular matter. So that's what I mean when I say, brothers and sisters, one should learn the vocabulary one uses in English. This book explains the prefixes, suffixes, prepositions, and grammar. So when you're dealing in grammar, we're talking about how sentence structure is, the matter of masculine and feminine, the matter of plural and singular. So these are things we wanted to point out and want to point out as pointed out in this particular book here. This book explains too the matter of biblical Hebrew. Now, what do we mean by that in regards with biblical Hebrew? The teaching understanding of saying that Hebrew has no vowels is expressed in this particular book and shown that Hebrew had to have vowels and that a vowel itself is namely say a sound. So these are things, again, brothers and sisters, that we want to point out as pointed out in this particular book. Hebrew is Easy, Volume 3. All right. This book explains how the verb qual, meaning easy, is an iron verb, meaning the second and third root letter is the same. This book too explains how the qual stem functions in the past, present, and future tenses, and what is called regular and irregular verbs. So let us explain something. Brothers and sisters, what is referred to say as the verb shamar is expressed as a regular verb. What is expressed say as an irregular verb is a verb that ends with the letter hey, or that has the second and third root letter as the same, or a verb that ends with an aleph, or a verb that ends with the letter ket, if you will. So these are things that are considered to be, quote, irregular. And this book right here expounds upon that in its past tense, its future tense, and the present tense. What is referred to as the bakalam is not addressed in that book. What is referred to as the command form is not addressed in that book. So I want that to be noted. Nonetheless, the entire qual stem, whether you're dealing with the aspect of lamed hey, Lamed Aleph, Lamed Ket, Ayin, Ayin Wow, Ayin Yod, Lamed Hey, Lamed Aleph, Lamed Ket, or Pei Nun, Pei Aleph, or Pei Yod verbs. Whatever form of that is expressed and explained in this particular book. So this is something we want to point out, and this is called, pardon me, we want to do this here. Hey Hashalom means behold the peace in volume 2, okay? And this one right here is Haquol, Quobel, Quelut Haqual. Haquol, Quobel, Quelut Haqual. Meaning what, brothers and sisters? All right? The voice cries the easiness of the qual. All right? All right, somebody asks, how does one get all 12 books? We're going to address that in this, but all 12 of these are online, or one can send through PayPal or through Zelle or through Cash App, which will be expounded upon as this goes on. Thank you for that question. All right, so just want to expound what that book right here is about in this particular case. Here we have, brothers and sisters, Hebrew is Easy, Volume 4. This book explains how the nouns function when showing possession. When a noun is shown as saying mine, yours, his, hers, theirs, when noun is singular and plural, both in the masculine and feminine nouns. What are we saying in this particular case? Take the word kippah. All right, the word kippah, brothers and sisters, is a feminine noun. The word kippah means hat. So it's being a feminine noun singular, its plural is kippot. So kippah will become kippati, my hat. Kippatka, your hat, when speaking to a male. Kippatek, your hat, when speaking to a female. Kippato, his hat. So these are things just showing how that works. Now, kippah is the singular, kippot is the plural. So you would have kippotai, my hat, kippoteka, your hat when speaking to a male, kippotayik, your hat when speaking to a female, kippoteha, her hat when speaking about the possessive matter of a feminine possession when a feminine noun is shown in plural. So that's what this particular book gets into, the aspect of masculine nouns, feminine nouns, the plural of each masculine and feminine nouns shown in possession as mine, yours, his, hers, and theirs. That's what this book right here expounds upon. All right, next we want to get into this. Hebrew is Easy, Volume 5. This book explains how the greetings are expressed in Hebrew, the regular conversations that family members have, the matter of how I have, I had, I will have, two are explained. The numbers two are explained. The explanation of the Ten Commandments in Hebrew is also addressed. So what am I saying in this particular case? When you have the matter of I have is yeshli. To say you have, yeshlaka. To say I had, hayali. To say you had, hayalaka. All right. Now that would be hayalak if you're talking about a masculine thing that was possessed by a female. So if you're talking about a feminine thing that's possessed by a female in the past form tense of it, you would say hayatalak. It was to you. Hakipa hayatalak. The hat, it was to you. So this is what this book expounds upon regarding that particular case, brothers and sisters. All right. So it also expounds upon the numbers. Ekad, Shanayim, Shalosha, Arba'a, Hamisha, Shiba, Shemona, Tisha, Asara. Then it gets into, brothers and sisters, Ekat, Shatayim, Shalosh, Arba, Kamesh, Shish, Shiba, Shemone, Tesha, and Asara or Eser. So these are things, brothers and sisters, that we want to talk about and expound upon regarding the numbers. But it goes all the way into the 20s and 30s and how to count as far as 100 in this particular book. All right. Now, this here, the regular conversations that family have. I went. I want to go. Do this for me. Thank you for doing that for me. Those kind of words when speaking to a male or a female regarding those sentences that members of a family commonly use is also expressed in this book. We have here the explanation of the Ten Commandments in Hebrew is also addressed. So how do you say lo tignob in English, thou shalt not steal, lo takmod, and I expound upon lo takmod meaning thou shalt not covet, and dropping off the prefix with the ta part, tak mode, you get kamad. Kamad is the root of that verb. So that's what we want to talk about and showing that in regards with the Ten Commandments in Hebrew. All right, that's what this book expounds upon as well, brothers and sisters. Now, let us go into the next part. Hebrew is Easy, Volume 6. All right, this book is dedicated to the memory, meaning the memory of my mother. This book explains how the letter Nun, shown here, is used as a prefix. The book too explains how the nif'al stem, the second stem, in Hebrew verbs work. All right, so these are things, just real quickly, brothers and sisters, we want to point out for edification purposes. All right, this here being the letter Nun. All right, now, okay, I was asked, is there going to be a replay? We will explain at the end what we were talking about. I appreciate the comment in that particular case. But this too will also be uploaded online for those who care to sit there and watch it later on. Toda, and thank you for that comment. Now, this book right here, Hebrew is Easy, Volume 6, Conversation Among Family. Now, the difference between this one here, saying let us talk to one another, and this one right here is more so directed between a parent and child conversation. Do this. Did you do this? Did you listen to what I said? Why did you not listen to what I said? You know, certain things of that kind of nature. That is what that particular book talks about. I also address, may she rest in peace, in part how my mother may she rest in peace, came into the understanding of being an Israelite. So those are things that are expounded upon in this particular book. All right. I'm going to, brothers and sisters, quickly put in my contact information. All right. 998-587-4841 for those who are interested. All right. Thank you. So the book here also, as stated, gets to in part regarding the Nifal stem. The Nifal stem is the second stem, which serves as a passive to the active qual stem. If you remember, brothers and sisters, with this one right here, this is about the easiness of the qual. This one right here gets into the aspect of the Nifal stem. All right, the qual stem is the active and the Nifal stem is the passive. So let me give an explanation. Let's look at this here, brothers and sisters. You have here the word shamar. Shamar will be under the qual stem. Inside of the Nifal form of it, brothers and sisters, it serves as the aspect of it being passive. You prefix it with the letter nun. That's why that becomes important in that particular case. So because my mother's name started with a noon, that's why I picked the letter noon to talk about regarding that particular matter. All right, maybe move on. Egypt took in writing. Did the Torah come from the culture of Tameri? Now, I understand some people were saying that I spelled Tameri wrong, but brothers and sisters, it's not an English word. So there is properly no correct way to spell, brothers and sisters, a word in English that's not an English word. All right, so let's go on. Egypt took in writing. Did the Torah come from Tameri? All right, and let's go on, brothers and sisters, in this particular case. This book explains that the Bible, namely the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, are not a copy of Egyptian culture. The book examines the claims made by many scholars, and the author, using both biblical and Egyptian writings, along with secular sources, meaning that not of the Bible or of Egypt itself, shows that the Torah is not from Egyptian culture. This book also explains the history of the Israelites in the Exodus. So, brothers and sisters, this book serves as a dual matter regarding a historical account, which is the account of the Exodus, and, brothers and sisters, what this also addresses, if we will, all right, is that the Torah does not come from the culture of ancient Egypt. This book gets into the Alpera papyrus. It gets into the matter of the Brooklyn papyrus. It gets into the matter of the Ebers papyrus. It gets into the matter of the different creation stories of ancient Egypt, if we will, being 3 different ones. You had one from Thebes. You had one from Memphis. You had one from Heliopolis, which the ancient Egyptians refer to as Ayunu. All right. So these are just things we want to emphasize and talk about. Now, this book gets historical because it talks about the matter of who was the Pharaoh of the Exodus. It gets into geography because it talks about what water actually parted regarding the Exodus. And then it gets into morality because it shows that the culture of Israel is separated from all the other cultures of the earth. So let us go on, brothers and sisters, in this particular case. All right. Deuteronomy 28:15-68. History untold to the masses. All right, brothers and sisters, this book explains the history of the people who eventually became the Israelites. What do I mean by that, by the people who eventually became the Israelites? Is this: the Israelites descended from the Chaldean people. Abraham was Chaldean, so was his wife. By default, so was their son. And by default, later on, their grandson. Knowing and understanding you are what your father is. All right. So these are things, brothers and sisters, we want to emphasize for edification purposes. The mothers, brothers and sisters of the Israelites, were of the Chaldean stock of people But along with that, brothers and sisters, definitely without a doubt, spoke what is the language of the Aramaic. And that book expounds upon that as well. All right. It explains how Israelite culture, the Torah, shows one to be accountable. The verses of Deuteronomy 28 is explained in detail and how it relates to the ancient Israelites and modern Israelites, the so-called blacks. The book refutes the claim that the Egypt by ships was fulfilled in the era of Titus of Rome. That is one of the claims that are made, say, against us. And I go in this particular aspect and explain the matter of Munter, the Roman historian, that many people do cite to us. There were conversations I've had online concerning the subject, and I took and respect, copied, and pasted it to this particular book so people can begin to see how to refute and respect what people try to come to us as Israelites about regarding Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. All right. There is also, brothers and sisters, over 30 pictures in this book that expound upon a matter as well. All right, let's go on to the next part, please. All right, from Assyria to America, the 12 tribes are in derision, part 1. This book explains the history of the Israelites from the era of being in Egypt, the Exodus, the external writings supporting the biblical narrative. The book explains the sad subsequent captivities of the Israelites from the Assyrians to the Americans. All right, so what are we talking about? We're talking about the Israelites that was under Egypt, and then later on, eventually, they came under the nation of the Canaanites in captivity, all right, or being oppressed, that is. Then you had the matter with Assyria. Then you had the matter with Babylon. Then you had the situation with Media Persia. Then you had the situation, brothers and sisters, with Greece. And this book gets into the Zenon papyrus. Look that up in this book when you get the chance, when you purchase it. Then the book goes into Rome and it talks about the Hellenos papyrus. Brothers and sisters, look that up in this book when you get the chance. So outside of that, it then goes from the Roman Empire on how to explain Deuteronomy 28 from a Hebraic extensive matter. Then, brothers and sisters, it gets into what happened with the Atlantic slave trade from Ghana, from Dahomey, from Madagascar, as well as from Nigeria. So this what this book, brothers and sisters, talks about, and thus eventually having us over here in the Western Hemisphere. All right, from Assyria to America, part 2. Now, brothers and sisters, what can we gather? And what do we want to talk about this particular matter for, if we will, brothers and sisters? All right, enlarge that a little bit. The book explains that the prophecy of Genesis 15 is not in reference to America or the Western Hemisphere. This book explains how the Hamite culture was pushed on the true house of Israel, along with the ideologies of Islam and Christianity. This book explains too, in pictorial format, the history of the Israelites. So it shows you different pictures of where the Israelites came from. It shows you different pictures of who are the Israelites. It shows pictures of the Israelites in the ancient world, and so forth and so on. All right. There is too a discussion on the tribe of Dan and the nation of Edom, because many people may say that the tribe of Dan is destroyed, which the tribe of Dan is not. And many people say that the Europeans in general were the people of Edom, which they are not. So this book right here expounds upon those particular matters as well. All right. Israelite history as it relates to the world. All right. This book explains from a biblical perspective, the history of the book of Exodus. The book 2 explains how Israelites are shown in archaeology. The book 2 explains the history of the Israelites in Northern Africa and how the Spaniards they knew they were taking the Israelites into captivity. I expound upon the matter of the Asiento and the matter of King Charles V, who was the grandson of Isabella Ferdinand of Spain. So these are things, brothers and sisters, we just want to point out in regard for edification purposes. The book 2 addresses the matter of the existence of the slave ships, because sometimes people say, oh, well, there's no evidence of it. Brothers and sisters, I expounded upon how there is definitely a record left of what happened regarding the slave ships inside of American history. All right, let's go on, if you will, to the next part. Old Testament Israelites respond to Messianic Israelites. This book explains why there are Old Testament based Israelites. The book explains the matter of the Old Testament prophecies that are said to be a Jesus. So in that case, we're talking about Isaiah 7, Isaiah 9, Isaiah 11, Isaiah 53, Daniel 7, Daniel 9, Ezekiel 34, Deuteronomy 18, Jeremiah chapter 31, Proverbs chapter 8, as well as Psalms chapter 22. Those are the chapters that are addressed in part regarding this, among others. So this book right here, speaking as a said Old Testament based brother, is the reason why this was written, so that way people can begin to know and understand our stance, even if some may agree, all right, or disagree too. All right, so let's go on. While knowing this is a very controversial subject, the author explains the matter of what a Messiah is in Hebrew thought. The book also explains how Paul did not go to teach Israelites, but rather taught of Israelites. In many cases, many people do say that Ephraim were the Greeks, that was the people that Paul was speaking about. But no disrespect intended, Ephraim is only mentioned one time in the New Testament, and that's in John chapter 11. Ephraim by name is not even mentioned in the 144,000 in Revelation 7. So this book right here gets into this particular matter for edification purposes. All right? Shalom. Much respect to the house of Yisrael. Check out the following YouTube channels on the following dates to get lessons and information. On Friday nights, now this is what I meant by earlier when I said a change within the channels, right? On Friday nights at 9 p.m., a history class based on biblical studies. The YouTube channel, Mora Yeshaya History Lessons. Subscribe to that channel. On Saturday, Sabbath at 2 p.m., live Hebrew classes. Lessons on how to learn to speak Hebrew. YouTube channel, Mora Yeshaya Hebrew Lessons. Subscribe to that channel. On Saturday nights at 9 p.m., a presentation on the scriptures, one chapter a lesson. The YouTube channel, Mora Yeshaya Torah Lessons. So, brothers and sisters, you may want to sit there and get into, if we will, this particular case. Subscribe to the channel, Mora Yeshaya History Lessons, Mora Yeshaya Hebrew Lessons, and Mora Yeshaya Torah Lessons. All right. My contact email, and I'm going to write it in here as well. All right, is Yisrael 22, the number, at yahoo.com. All right, so just want to point that out. So you have my number, 908-587-4841, and my email. Let's go on, if you will, to the next slide. Shalom to those who hear this. Shalom for those who are interested in the books. The Hebrew books are $8 each. Now, this is addressing many people's concerns so far. The Hebrew books are $8 each. All right. The history and theology books are $15 each. They are available on Amazon.com. One can also acquire the books by direct payment to Zelle. The number to the Zelle account, all right, and I'm going to put that number in this, is 732-527-6095. All right, and that's for Zelle. And then we have, brothers and sisters, the Cash App, the information. All right, we're going to put that in here as well. All right, is $Franks, Frankson1, FRANKSSON, the number one. All right, and that right there, brothers and sisters, is the particular Cash App. All right. PayPal. All right. The address for that is hkashub@yahoo.com. And that happens to be the aspect of the PayPal for those who are interested. Now, if you do pay by Zelle, Cash App, or PayPal, do me a favor and text me or call me while you're doing that or after you do it at 908-587 4841. All right. Reason being is because I need to know where to send the book to, and so forth and so on. All right. So we're gonna have to either text as well as converse in that particular matter. Information on how to contact me. All right. I also do Hebrew classes for free. Those who are interested. For those who are interested, one can email me. All right. We're going to even post this yet again. YYISRAEL@yahoo.com. Y Yisrael, the number 22, sorry. Y Yisrael 22, the number at yahoo.com. All right. We want to emphasize this, free Hebrew classes. The only thing I ask is that you purchase and actually buy the book, at least Hebrew is Easy Volume 1. All right, subscribe to the YouTube channels. More Yeshaya Torah lessons, more Yeshaya Old Testament, more Yeshaya Hebrew lessons. All right, all of those are different YouTube channels, brothers and sisters, that a brother operates. More Yeshaya Torah lessons, more Yeshaya Old Testament, more Yeshaya Hebrew lessons. And as we pointed out before, brothers and sisters, you have more Yeshaya history lessons. So there are, brothers and sisters, pardon me for that part, scrolling too fast, sorry. Information on how to get this done. Let's go on afterward. Blessed be the Most High, the Creator, who guided me to write books. May He cause us all to learn. Be inspired to have a goal and accomplish it. Whatever your inspiration is based on in righteousness, may the Creator bless it. Put the necessary work in. May it be as Moses was seen going to the burning bush, that the Most High will have one appointed to accomplish a mission. So what do I mean by that, brothers and sisters? So as people know that Moses saw in the Bible the burning bush, and then he went toward it. It says when the Creator saw that he went toward it, he called out to him. So we want to have that same God, the same Creator, the same Elohim, brothers and sisters, to use us, whatever he may be willing to use us for. We may have to sit there and look for that light like Moses happened to see. So these are things we just want to point out for edification purposes. All right, showing much respect. We're gonna have to read this right here. It says, and given on a human level due respect, my mother, Garrett Nifla'a, and father, F. Hutchinson. My teachers, Mori Yosef, Adon Yishai, Rabbi Yeshurun, Mori Tibak, Adon Aharon Ben Zebulun, Adon Horatio, Cohen Levy, Kohen Malkiel, Chief Simeon, Chief of Chief Naphtali, More Mishael, More Hoshea, and the great elder, may she rest in peace, Imam Matina. May the Creator rest their souls. All right. My teachers, Mordeh Yehosadek, Kohen Mikael, as well as Nasi Kamul, may they all be blessed. My female teachers, Gaveret Miriam, Ima Tamikia, Gaveret Shalomi, Gaveret Kamdiel, may they be blessed. And of course, Ima Naami, for those who know who I'm speaking of. Okay, giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator and the Maker of heaven and earth. Now, all of the books that I have written, Torah Yah being 12, what do I recommend the most? Hebrew is Easy, Volume 1. From Assyria to America, Part 2. These two I recommend of all 12 to get. If you don't get anything else, you may want to get that Hebrew is Easy, Volume 1. You may want to get that From Assyria to America, Part 2. And it's not to be arrogant. I do believe that you will not be disappointed for the info that is presented. This is done by Danite Publications. My website is danitepublications.com. This is the logo. This was created by a brother named Zebulon Ben Levy. All right. So just want to point that out. So this right here was created, brothers and sisters, this flyer by a sister named Fab Aim Edits. And it was another person who actually created this book cover as we see right here. So these are things, brothers and sisters, just want to point out. All right. I'm going to put this information, who created what book, and so forth and so on, inside of the description of this particular video. All right. In closing out, I say Todah for the time, giving honor and praise unto Yah, the creator and the maker of heaven and earth. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the other channels. Moreh Yeshaya history lessons, as well as Moreh Yeshaya Hebrew lessons, as well as Moreh Yeshaya Old Testament. So there are different channels that a brother operates, giving honor unto Yah, the creator and maker of heaven and earth. Good night. Shalom.